Welcome back, my dear students. I am Dr. M. Sindil Kumar, Professor in Health, Department of Automobile Engineering, Bharat Institute of Higher Education Research, Baihar, Chennai. Now, we'll see about another topic under the 5th semester BTech Automobile Engineering course, U18 PC AU 501 Automotive Transmission. Now, here we'll be seeing about the two different things. One is the fluid coupling. The other one is the torque converter. Now, to start with, we'll say about the fluid coupling now. So, fluid coupling is acts as a clutch actually. So, clutch is a mechanical friction based device. So, you know about the functioning of a clutch already. Once again I repeat, because once you know the function of a clutch, then only you'll come to know about the fluid coupling as well. The function of a purpose of a clutch is to connect and disconnect the power from the engine to the wheel, or engage and disengage the power from the engine to the wheel. That is the function of a clutch. If you see the function of a coupling, it is same as the clutch actually. It acts as a clutch only. In place of a clutch, if you keep this fluid coupling, then this acts as a clutch actually. But the difference is, clutch has a asbestos friction based material. Here it is working on a fluid principle. Now let's see in detail. It converts or transmits rotating mechanical energy or power. Okay, now for example, you see this example. Of course, fluid coupling uses fluid, but this example, it is having two different fans. One is powered, other is not powered. You see that one is plugged with the power source. If you switch on this fan, then air flows. Okay, so air flow happens through this fan. Because of this air flow, air has some energy or force. That energy or force try to hit the fan blade of this particular fan. Then that fan blade starts cranking or rotating. That means you see this fan powered by electrical power, then because of the energy available in the air which is flowing now, is able to crank and rotate this fan actually. So now you see that the power is transmitted from this side to that side. Maybe some slip is there, this will be rotating at the higher speed and this will be rotating the lower speed, doesn't matter, but power is transmitted somehow. Now what is the medium here? Air is the medium here, but in the fluid coupling, liquid or the fluid is the medium here. So that is the basic thing about the fluid coupling. Let's see about the basic components. Fluid coupling has outer shell or housing, impeller or pump, and turbine or runner it has. Both of these units are contained within the housing via voltage shield. The entire setup, it is the typical layout of the diagram of the fluid coupling. So this is called the impeller, other one is the runner. So impeller is powered by the engine, okay, IC engine, and this runner is run by the kinetic energy available because of the impeller rotation. So after that one, after some time only, the runner speed picks up and it rotates. So power is transmitted. But the entire unit is hermetically sealed. So then it has liquid, fluid, that cannot escape. So there shouldn't be any leak. So it should be oil tight seal. The input turbine is connected to the power supply, typically an electric or IC engine. So in this case, in our case, it is IC engine, not electric. The output turbine is connected to the drivetrain of the vehicle or the drive system of a machine. Here, mineral oil is used for better efficiency. Now let's see the cut section of this one also here. So this is the cut section layout of the fluid coupling here. This is another model. So let's see the fluid coupling working. There are four different stages maybe, or status maybe: standstill, idling, low to medium speed, medium to high speed. Let's see. Standstill. When the engine or the fluid coupling is in standstill, the entire operating fluid in the coupling is at rest. That means when it is in standstill, no motion in the fluid. No motion in the fluid. Okay, so that is what is yellow. Fluid is in the bottom position, not at the top position. When it is started up, slowly the fluid started flowing between the impeller and the turbine. And the normal operation, the fluid is thrown in the outward direction because of the centrifugal action. So that is why you see yellow color is the fluid. It is in the outward direction, both at the towards the outer periphery, both in the top side as well as in the bottom side. What you are seeing is the cut section, of course. Okay, again we'll come back. Standstill. Here, the entire operating fluid in the coupling is at rest here. Is at rest here. Then idling. In idling, the centrifugal force, because of the impeller rotation, it is not sufficient enough to turn the turbine. I said the entire fluid energy is converted to kinetic energy. That kinetic energy, once it gets the momentum or energy, then only it can able to rotate the turbine. Left side is the impeller. The left side portion of this fluid coupling is connected with the engine. The right side part of the fluid coupling has turbine. That unit is connected with the output shaft. In turn is connected to the the output shaft is connected with the gearbox, of course. So this is the arrangement. So when the idling, you see the fluid started rotating, but it hasn't got the enough energy, fluid energy or the kinetic energy to move the turbine. So impeller will be rotating still, but the turbine is not rotating. Good idea? Okay. Then low to medium speed. The centrifugal force pushes oil into turbine and some turning effort is transmitted. Large degree of slip in the unit occurs. Output shaft is rotating slowly than the input shaft. You see, when the speed of the engine is somewhere between low and medium, that means yes, the impeller started circulating and pushing the fluid. So because of the centrifugal force, the fluid slowly gaining its momentum and energy, kinetic energy, but still it is not sufficient enough to rotate the turbine without any slip. Some amount of slip happens here. So that is what is shown here. Normal operation, you see the entire fluid is thrown in the outer periphery because of the centrifugal action. The next, the medium to high speed. Here, oil force is sufficient to transmit full power. OP means output shaft. The output shaft rotating at about 98% of the speed of the input shaft. That means there is one inherent disadvantage in the case of fluid coupling, that the slip is always having it has a slip always, maybe in the range of somewhere between 1 to 2%. So 2% slip always occurs. So it's a loss, of course, but here instead of comparing the mechanical clutch has uh, clutch plate has a frictional surface. Because of the friction action, the clutch plate is rigidly held between the pressure plate and the back plate. So if the grip is good, definitely power is transmitted without any slip. But still, some rubbing action is always taking place between the friction plate and the pressure plate in the mechanical clutch. So heat generation is much higher there, but slip may be lesser there. But slip may be lesser, but heat generated is higher. So that will always impact the performance of the clutch unit in even in mechanical clutch. But here slip is more, but there is no frictional action here. Even if there is a frictional action, uh, heat cannot be produced because everything is power is being fed because of the kinetic energy and the vortex flow of the fluid flow inside the fluid coupling. So if that is the case, then naturally, even though slip 2% slip occurs, yes, we lose power, but heat is not generated. So that is one disadvantage and one advantage. One disadvantage is yes, 2% slip, but one advantage, even though slip occurs, but no friction, no heat generated. So still, the entire setup is running so smoothly, so coolly, so smoothly and so coolly. Let's see the action of the fluid coupling here. So here you can see the input shaft, turbine wheel, output shaft, fluid flow, vortex flow direction. This is the cut section. Even in cut section you can see input shaft, impeller, turbine, output shaft, the casing. The casing is an airtight casing, so liquid flowing and contained in the fluid coupling unit, there should not be any leakage. Now you see it is a typical example. Fluid, the impeller pushes the fluid, it hits the turbine. Because of hitting, the turbine rotates. So it is a continuous process. It is a continuous process. Sorry. So a fluid coupling or hydraulic coupling, because it uses fluid, that means it becomes hydraulic automatically. Hydraulic coupling is a hydrodynamic or hydrokinetic device used to transmit rotating mechanical power. It has been used in automobile transmission as an alternative to the mechanical clutch. Nowadays, most of the cars, especially the automatic transmission, all the cars are fitted with automatic transmission nowadays. So if it is an automatic transmission, definitely this will be have those things will have fluid coupling rather than this mechanical clutch. But of course, mechanical clutch is a conventional one, the legacy one. It also has widespread application in marine and industrial machine drives, where variable speed operation and controlled startup without shock loading of the power transmission system is essential. So the another good advantage you see from this, you can understand the variable speed operation thing is the variable speed operation and controlled startup without shock loading. This is very important. Another important parameter comparing the mechanical clutch. In mechanical clutch, whenever you are engaging, especially whenever you are engaging the clutch, there will be a jerk. There will be a visible. Uh, you can easily feel if you are sitting inside the vehicle, you can you can feel the jerk, because all the parts are mechanical parts. The springs, it has springs, frictional clutch, of clutch lining and all, So whenever there is an engagement, definitely some jerk will be there, some torsional oscillation, jerk plus torsional oscillation, both will be there. But here it is purely working on the fluid principle. That means fluid, even if you take for example shock absorber is fully fitted with hydraulic oil only. So even though oil is incompressible, fluid is incompressible, but it's a good shock absorber. So this one you see, compared with the mechanical clutch, you cannot, you won't feel any jerk. Number one. Second, you won't feel the torsional oscillation or vibration also. So that way, compared to mechanical clutch, fluid coupling based clutch, fluid coupling is actually a clutch. Is definitely a good one for from the point of view of rider comfort. Okay, still it plays. Let's see. So now the input shaft starts rotating. Okay, after it gains some momentum. There is a thin gap. The casing is very much essential because the entire fluid is should not escape. So that you see that casing, runner, impeller. Here in this, the impeller is in the left hand side actually in those diagrams. So this is the thing, when the engine rotates, this is the impeller. Okay, engine is connected with impeller. Engine shaft is connected with the impeller. When the impeller rotates, it will throw the fluid. That means the rotational speed converted to fluid energy, though it has some kinetic energy. So this energy try to hit and pushes the turbine. So the turbine blades are inclined. So then when this hits the turbine blades, because of that inclination, that will start rotating. So that is how the power rotational force or the power is being transferred from impeller side to the turbine side. Again you see that. So it is hard to visualize, but this diagram is really helpful for you to understand about these things. Let's see the advantages of fluid coupling. The power transmission is free from vibration and noise. That's what I said, because it's a fluid principle, no mechanical parts involved, all are fluid parts. Power is transmitted through the fluid, the liquid. So it acts as a power media as well as a cushioning media also. That is why the power transmission is free from vibration and noise also, because even the lubricant is almost like a lubrication oil also. Then second point, power transmission is smooth even in extreme condition. Even if it is a overload, the vehicle is overloaded, the engine is overloaded, still, you suppose say the engine is overloaded, what will happen? It cannot transmit the power, but still the impeller will rotate. That means the engine is not stalled. Engine cannot be stopped. Suppose if you take a mechanical clutch, suppose if there is any lockage or if there is any breakage inside the clutch, so definitely that will arrest the both the wheel motion and the engine running. So that will always hit the wheel as well as the, if there is any breakage or locking action takes place, that will always try to stop the engine. So that in my point of view, it is a catastrophic. So that is a biggest disadvantage in the case of yeah, mechanical transmission, but mechanical clutch. But here, even if there is any breakage or breakdown, or if it is even locked, nothing will happen to the engine. The engine still will run, but 100% slip occurs here. That is the thing. Motor or engine starts unloaded. So that's what I said. If there is any abnormal situation, 100% slip occurs, so motor or engine starts unload. The load is released from the engine, so engine can freely run and operate. So from that point of view, the other point, if you see, it is automatically inherently has the overload protection. The next point, the controlled startup speeds without shock loading of power transmission system. So the engagement disengagement will be smooth, progressive. Then we will see about another fluid based thing called the torque converter. Uh, uh, Fluid coupling, torque converter, both are working on the fluid principle, but the torque fluid coupling is equal to clutch, but the torque converter can be equated with the gearbox. That means in fluid coupling and clutch, you have a gear ratio of 1:1 only always. Maybe some 2% slip will be there. But in the gearbox and torque converter, you can multiply the torque ratio both in the gearbox as well as in the torque converter. So that is the one biggest thing here. Before before seeing this one, we'll see this one now. You see, almost it is similar to the fluid coupling only, but here it has another member apart from impeller and turbine. Even fluid coupling also has impeller and turbine. This also, torque converter also has impeller and turbine. But in addition to this impeller and turbine, this torque converter has a stator also. So the stator is a member, very important member. This is the deciding factor about increasing, varying, or multiplying the torque ratio. Now we see about torque converter. It serves as automatic clutch which transmits engine torque to the transmission input shaft. That means if the vehicle has torque converter, that means fluid coupling is not required separately because that functionality is built in here itself. So that is why it is being given that serves as automatic clutch which transmits engine torque to the transmission input shaft. Next point, it multiplies the torque. That is very important. Fluid coupling doesn't multiply torque, clutch doesn't multiply torque, but the torque converter and the gearbox multiplies the torque. So this torque converter multiplies the torque generated by the engine. Next, it absorbs torsional vibration of the engine. Next, it acts as a flywheel and smooths out engine rotation. Even suppose the vehicle has a fluid coupling, you can reduce the size of the flywheel also. So you can save some material, you can improve the performance of the vehicle and engine as a whole. It drives the oil pump. It's because it contains oil, it drives the oil pump also. A torque converter consists of these: impeller, turbine, stator, and transmission fluid. Now let's see about the torque converter sectional view. So the left side having engine, you have engine flywheel. The engine flywheel is covered with the converter housing. The converter housing has the pump, or we call impeller. We can call it as impeller or turbine. So the blue one is the driver, engine side. The green one is the output side, transmission side. Okay. So converter housing, pump or impeller. Whenever the engine rotates, the flywheel, converter housing, pump or impeller rotates. Okay. The next one, the green one is called the turbine, okay, or the rotor. Okay, so this is connected with the output shaft. Now in between there is a stator. There is a stator, but the stator is connected with one-way clutch, or the other name for the one-way clutch is ORC, overrunning clutch. That means it transmits the power in one direction, say clockwise direction. That means in anti-clockwise direction it freely rotates. It is something similar to a free wheel in the cycle, a free wheel in the cycle. Okay, so the stator is connected with a one-way clutch or overrunning clutch. So this arrangement, this is the cut section, this is the real model. This is the real model. Now let's see about the purpose of the function of the impeller. The impeller is connected to the engine and transfers engine power to the transmission fluid. When the impeller speed increases, centrifugal force causes fluid flow outward towards the turbine. So when the whole vehicle, the engine is stationary, when engine is not running, fluid is in stationary. When the engine starts running, that means the impeller starts rotating. Impeller start rotating. Because of the impeller geometry and the blades it has in the impeller, this will try to push the fluid contained in the impeller cavity towards outer periphery due to the centrifugal effect. So then the fluid slowly gaining some power, getting some power. That is what is mentioned here. When the impeller speed increases, the centrifugal force causes the fluid to flow outwards towards the turbine. So this will move towards outer periphery. In turn, it will always try to move outer periphery, then it has to flow, so it will hit the turbine. Thereby, since it hits the turbine also, turbine starts rotating. Now let's see about the turbine. Now it is attached to the transmission input shaft with the spline joint. The curvature of the vanes is opposite from that of the impeller vanes. That is, the impeller curvature geometry is different from the turbine vane curvature geometry. That is what is mentioned here. Then fluid caught in the cupped vanes of the turbine and torque is transferred to the transmission input shaft. So the fluid which is caught in between, caught or trapped in the vanes of the turbine, because of the entrapment, the torque is transferred to the transmission input shaft. Let's see about the stator. The stator is in between the impeller and the turbine, so the black one here is the stator. The black one is the stator. It is coupled with the one-way clutch or overrunning clutch. Okay, the stator is used to redirect fluid returning from the turbine before it hits the pump or impeller. So the stator is used to redirect the fluid returning from the turbine before it hits the pump or impeller. So that means because of centrifugal force, the impeller throws the fluid. Okay, so that means it goes to turbine, it hits the turbine. After hitting the turbine, it comes to stator. Again, while come to stator, before hitting the pump or turbine, it is hitting the stator actually. Because of this action, this increases so this increases the torque to the impeller. Now let's see about working of a torque converter when the vehicle accelerates. When the engine speed picks up, high vortex flow happens in the impeller. Speed difference between the impeller and turbine is great when the vehicle accelerates. impeller rotates much faster than the turbine. Fluid leaving the turbine strikes the concave face of the vanes of stator and locks it to rotate in counterclockwise direction. Fluid leaving from stator strike back of the vanes of the impeller to increase the torque. So because of the heating action only, the fluid is capable enough to increase and multiply the torque. So it is all happening because of the high vortex flow happening in the impeller region. So the impeller, from the impeller, the fluid is thrown and the fluid hits the turbine. Once it hits the turbine started rotating slowly. Then the fluid leaving the turbine strike back the concave face of the vanes of a stator and locks it to rotate in counterclockwise direction. Then fluid leaving from the stator strike back the vanes of the impeller to increase the torque. So like this only, the torque converter is able to not only to rotate the turbine, also to vary or multiply the torque value. The torque value. So my dear friends, in this video we saw about two different things. One is the fluid coupling. Fluid coupling, the function and the working of the fluid coupling is similar to the mechanical clutch, engaging and disengaging the power from the engine to the wheel. But the torque converter is something different, but the torque converter has fluid coupling also built in. So this fluid coupler, the torque converter, acts as both as clutch as well as gearbox. So it tries to connect and disconnect the power. At the same time, it tries to multiply the torque ratio also. Because it multiplies the torque ratio, it changes and varies the speed ratio. So hope the students watching and listening this video, you'll have better clarity and understanding about the fluid coupling and the torque converter.